Welcome, race fans, to Atlanta Motor Speedway for a very exciting night of racing here on iRacing. My name is Rishav Khosla, joined tonight in the booth by Brandon Key and Joey Gattina, and we're about to watch a 40-car race in the Sim500 versus Elite Racing League Showdown. Looking forward to this, a great event put together by the two mainly put together by Brandon Key here, who's joining me up in the booth, who'll join us for the rest of the night. But a great opportunity to see two of some of the most competitive leagues here in iRacing, in these NASCAR B-Series cars specifically, going at it, trying to see who is actually, who actually has the best drivers. Looking forward to seeing how this all plays out. But Brandon, before we get going, just talk to me about how you came up with this idea and what you're expecting to see tonight from these 40 drivers.
Yeah, man, I'm very excited. I've known Joey for a while now. I've ran in Sim500, and I've known that it's a very competitive league. And I've been running in Elite, and we just kind of were shooting the crap a little bit and said, let's just do a challenge, because, I mean, I know Sim500 has the top drivers in iRacing that do league racing, and it's a good challenge for Elite tonight, and I'm ready to see what happens.
And Joey, how about you? How is this looking from your side of the field?
Yeah, I'm excited. It was neat to work with Brandon on this and to see all the different paint schemes and have the leagues work together. So yeah, I'm excited to sit back and see how this turns out.
All right, well, we're underway for 100 laps here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's Kevin King from Sim500 leading the way ahead of Josh Parker. R.C. Peterson, the first of the Elite Racing League drivers, in the number 50, running in the third position. There you see that field spread all the way out. A huge field here racing at Atlanta. Great to see a large number of drivers showing up tonight. Some of the best from both Sim500 and the Elite Racing Leagues. For those of you watching at home, the easy way to distinguish one car from the other, those Sim500 cars are the bright orangish red color, both on the car's paint schemes as well as up there on your ticker, the bright green in the leagues.
And there's a ton of red schemes up front right now, so I'm a little worried so far, Joey. What do you got?
It just started. Our guys are pretty quick on qualifying. We got some of the best when it comes to that. Kevin King, of course, he's a legend in his own. So, I mean, I'm okay with it staying the way it is right now. You mind keeping your guys back a little bit?
Yeah, I think my guys early on are going in tire saving mode. We'll catch you on a lap 25, maybe.
Well,
yeah, that's neat. If you look back about 20th, there's like a bunch of red cars, green cars. I like that.
Well, if you look up front, it is R.C. Anderson, though, looking to try and make some moves, but actually might fall back another spot here with Mike Kelly looking to the inside of that number 50 car. So R.C., the highest placed of the Elite cars. The next one up then is Colin Fern back in 8th position. So some work certainly to move forward for the Elite Racing drivers to move towards the front of this pack over the course of this race. Didn't have a great qualifying development. There's a big pack right here from the 12th position on back.
Yeah, and R.C. Anderson, he's such a great driver. He's very smart. Runs a very clean, smart race every week. And the same with Fern. He's very aggressive, but he's got just raw speed. If he can keep the car clean throughout the night, I definitely think you'll be able to see him up front contending for the win.
Well, a battle for the lead taking place right now as Kevin King goes high in turns 1 and 2. That allows Josh Parker from Sim500 as well to sneak his way to the inside there. They're now running side by side down the front straightaway, but Parker has to now slot back in line behind Kevin King. But pressure already on our leader here, and Sim500 teammates are ready to fight each other, race each other for this win.
Joey, are they going to race clean, or who do you got here? Who's your pick for tonight?
Kevin King. I've got a Kevin King t-shirt on right now, actually. But no, one thing in practice, a lot of our guys were talking about how loose this setup was. A lot of our guys struggling big time. So I think that's what you're seeing right now is while we have the separation and everybody staying real clean and single file is just trying to fill these cars out and find where it's going to run stable for the longest.
Yeah, I'm looking through this these lap times. Comstock and Massey are trying fast laps. You can see them come up through the field and after they save some tires.
Well, how about this pack just, again, a little bit further back from the lead group. Just a huge gaggle of cars really all over the racetrack. You guys, done some more racing than I certainly have, at least in the recent past. Talk about this Atlanta Motor Speedway, especially in this B car. What is it like to drive around here? What are these drivers experiencing right now? Do they have multiple lanes to work with? What kind of can they utilize in terms of tools in the cars to work their way forward?
Yeah, I think Atlanta is a driver's track, especially in the B car, and if the sun is out and the track is hot, you're going to be sliding all over the place. So I think that a lot of these guys are just taking it cautious, taking their laps, and doing what they got to make it to the finish.
Yeah, I'd second that. And something I really think is just awesome is you put 40 guys out here, 20 from each league. They never raced. A lot of them haven't raced against each other, and right now we're clean and great. I shouldn't say that, but some great side-by-side racing. And this track, again, it is slick. It is loose. There's not a comfortable groove on the track. So shout out to all these guys out here right now. This is a great sight to see.
Well, Mike Montesi looking for a pass on Colin Fern here. And looks like Montesi might just get there, though not quite able to clear the number 68 of Colin Fern. So Fern takes back that position. Jared Rexing looks like he might get a shot as well. Meanwhile, up front, there is still this great battle going on for the lead of this race. Kevin King versus Josh Parker. R.C. Anderson actually slotted into second briefly there, but Josh Parker quickly grabbed that back as Parker now looks to the inside of King, but decides better of it heading into turn number 1. Maybe not. King goes all the way to the top of the racetrack. Parker to the bottom.
I mean, this is awesome racing. Like Joey said, these guys haven't raced around each other much, and RC's doing what he can up there with 3 red cars surrounding them, but it's all clean racing, multi-grooves. This is good stuff.
And something we haven't talked about too is the tires. We have 3 sets of tires. They probably won't use all 3 sets, but that's the limit. If this thing continues to go the way it is, you'll see some green flag. You'll see 1 green flag stop. This may be a one-stop race. So I didn't even look or ask, but I think that's probably what you're looking at. These guys will run these tires out as long as they can.
Well, what's the fuel around here, Joey? Do you know off the top of your head?
I didn't even get in the car to find out. Sorry, Brandon. I'm very bad at being an announcer.
No worries there, Joey. That's totally fine. We'll get that's part of the adventure here up in the booth, as we get to speculate at when these guys are actually going to come down pit road, and it's more amusing when we're completely wrong. Wow, look at that. Josh Parker almost completes the slide job on Kevin King there. Oh, and they make contact with R.C. Anderson.
I hope it didn't get much damage out of that. I don't think it's going to be too bad. Maybe a little bit of aerodynamics, but that'll be it.
Yeah, watch the right front there on that 50 car, but that was a slide job from Josh Parker that he kind of just lost that momentum, didn't quite get in front of Kevin King, and kind of slotted back. R.C. Anderson ran into the back there, and front right damage to that 50 car. Not too sure what the damage looks like on the number 23 here of Josh Parker. Looking at that right rear quarter panel, or actually it would probably be the left rear quarter panel, but not seeing anything too clearly on our pictures so far.
I think Jared Rexing's +7 so far since the beginning of the race, so he's moving his way through the field quite a bit. He's a very good driver that saves tires, and you'll see that probably in the next 10 or so laps. He is he's our biggest mover so far, I believe.
Biggest mover, at least up inside the top 10. We got one guy, Daniel Falkingham, up 11 spots up to 45th position. He just not had a great qualifying session for him. So we'll continue to follow that progress there. One of our Sim500 drivers. Our biggest loser so far, at least on this particular start, has been Josh Clark in this number 28 for Elite Racing, down 10 spots from his qualifying position. Maybe just struggling right now, though. Potentially Josh Clark, we know, is another one of those drivers who is really great at that long run speed, potentially trying to save some tire for later in this run. We'll keep an eye out. That's something to really look out for in these guys, kind of in the mid-teens as well as early 20s. They might be going a little bit slow early on, trying to save some tires versus the guys up front, but still a lot to play for here and a lot to figure out as Mike Kelly now moves past R.C. Anderson, making this a Sim500 1, 2, 3.
And yeah, Joey, you know more about Daniel Falkingham than me, but I've raced with him, and he is probably one of the best iRacers I've personally shared the track with.
Yes, Daniel Falkingham is actually the winningest driver in Sim500. He's coming in on 100 wins. I think the percentage of winning it's like close to 30% of the time he's logs into the server, he wins. And I'm watching him right now. He's just dicing through the field. I don't know why the 39 didn't get a qualifying lap in, but he's slowly but surely making his way through. And I noticed the 4-car, Bob Gillenwater, he's got some massive damage from back in his race car. That's for sure going to hurt him the rest of the race.
Yeah, well, how about this pack here on on this racetrack heading into turn number 1? Great 2x2 battling all the way through. Some guys even going 3 wide. This is just great, fantastic, hard racing right now in the complete middle of the pack here. So really intriguing to see how this is playing out early on. Guys maybe not as patient as you might expect. They're trying to get that track position, be the first one in this next group.
Are we at Daytona here, guys? Because, I mean, it's just like a Daytona race. Usually, you know, B-cars at Atlanta get spread out, but this is insane.
It's spread out in front of this group. So once they figure out who wants to lead and who wants to go where, it may turn out to be a single file race. But right now, these guys are just struggling just to get around and get some clean air.
Yeah, well, it was 3 wide there with Daniel Falkingham on the bottom, and he stays 3 wide with a great run off of turn number 2. Despite that, you know, less than preferred line, he's still there. Great 3x3 battling here at Atlanta all the way around this racetrack. Finally, the 44 of Campbell drops back, and now it's just the 39 and 15 car of Chad Frankenfield, league owner for Elite Racing's, duking it out here with Daniel Falkingham for the 20th spot.
Yeah, Chad, he's very quick as well, as long as he stays mistake-free. He a lot of times, you know, he's running in the top 5 and has some unfortunate luck a lot of the times, but he's a very good racer, very good league owner, and he's done well putting this league together.
Doing a great job here, holding off Daniel Falkingham for sure, as you know, the 39 with a bit of a nose ahead in front of the 15 car. I think that might just be enough to shoot him in front coming off of turn number 2 here. Chad Frankenfield going to try and utilize that top lane to get a good run off the back straightaway to defend this position. A great battle going on here from all of these drivers, but specifically this battle here for this 20th position. And yeah, this is for 20th position here in this race. These guys are not giving an inch anywhere throughout this field.
What do we have? 1, 2, 3 still for Sim500. RC, I don't think that damage is affecting them as much as I thought it would. I'm sure it's hurting him a little bit, but he's still holding his own up there in top 5. Caution is out.
Ooh, here we go. So caution flag out on the racetrack. Jacob Adams looks to be the cause of that, one of our Elite Racing drivers. So we'll take a look at what happened there. Just part of that massive pack there. Takes out the 02 and the 3 car from Sim500 as well.
The 02 car. Who is that, Joey?
Shannon Wood.
So Shannon Wood there. Big damage you can see for Shannon Wood. The 3 car of Jeff Rhyme as well with big damage there. We'll grab another replay here of this particular incident. Once again, watch out. So it's the 25 clears up in front of the 02, and that's what really happens. That starts the wreck. There's Jacob Adams, the camera on that 25 car.
Yeah, his night is done. He's not going to be able to run, but he got a ton of damage on the 02. As long as we're taking out these red cars, that's our mission tonight. I think we're doing a good job. That was well done, Jacob Adams.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like that's normally how it works. You know, guys racing their ass off for 30th and 3 and 4 wide, and there's our wreck. So we hate to see that for sure. And definitely the 02, the front end's gone off a bit. So gonna have to get on my guys, man. They should be laying back and not doing that, putting themselves in that position.
Well, the entire field comes down pit road here, so now it'll be a race of the pit crews. The Elite Pit Crews versus Sim500. Of course, how well can you get in your box? You know, we've seen some pretty intriguing races off pit road, at least in the Elite Racing Leagues. I'm not sure about your guys' side of things there, but man, oh man, we'll take a look and see who's the first one off here. Expect it, though, to, of course, be Kevin King.
Yeah, Kevin King isn't going to make many mistakes. He's hit pit road a million times on iRacing. So
look at Falkingham coming through here.
That's my pick, unfortunately, to win the race. And I know I'm an elite guy, but that guy is very talented.
He may have just took fuel.
No way.
Let's take a look here for Falkingham. Nope, that's a 4-tire pit stop.
Wow.
So
that's how you get. That's how you get on and off pit road right there.
Yeah, that was impressive there. So Daniel Falkingham up to the 18th spot. Remember, he was battling about 21st, 22nd. gaining 4 spots on pit road in iRacing is a huge achievement, again, because of the parity there in terms of the actual speed of the stationary time on pit road.
I see Gerald Campbell is leading right now. Rish, what did he take 4 tires there?
No, Gerald Campbell has shown as not come down pit road. So Gerald Campbell staying out here for track position for some reason. Can either of you guys explain that? You'll also notice the bit of a different scheme there on that 31 car. But either of you guys have an explanation there for why this 31's deciding to stay out right now. No points on the line.
What, 22 laps on tires at Atlanta? We might see chaos on this restart.
Yeah, this is what you don't do if you're out there watching with these tires as old as they are. He's just gonna completely be in the way here. There's nothing he's gonna do to be able to hold this pack back. So it'll just be up to him if he can hold on to the race car and not put himself in any position to take anybody else out with him.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if you're an Elite Racing fan, you'll see there R.C. Anderson lines up right behind Gerald Campbell. So Campbell, in fact, is inadvertently messing up his teammate on this restart. So that certainly doesn't bode well for those guys. So this could potentially be a great clean getaway for both Kevin King and Josh Parker on that bottom lane.
I agree. And one other name to kind of keep an eye on is Tyler Fody. He's in a 13th position now. He's very fast. So I'd say in the next 10 or 15 laps, he's going to be creeping up into the top 10 and moving his way forward.
All right, well, the field is getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Gerald Campbell, who stayed out on that last caution, brings the field to green, and we're back underway on lap number 25 of 100. You can see we called it right there. Campbell slow on that outside lane, hands over the lead back to Kevin King and Josh Parker. R.C. Anderson then has to dive to the bottom to avoid losing any more positions. There's a gaggle of red cars as well with Mike Kelly and Tommy Ryan, but Colin Fern now up into the 5th position, but has to defend from the 99 car of Ryan. And here they go through turn 3 and into turn number 4. It's Sim500 1-2 with R.C. Anderson in 3rd, then Mike Kelly for Sim500 and Colin Fern for Elite, rounding out our top 5 after lap 1 of this restart.
Yeah, I think that was big for RC down there on that restart. Gerald slowed him down on the restart a little bit, but getting down in line and getting, oh, now look at him dive for the second. Here he comes, Joey.
Battle for second for sure, yeah. I was back there looking at Gerald Campbell. I think in 2 laps he's dropped back to like the 25th spot. So definitely something you may want to take the crew chief out back and beat him with a bat or something.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't understand that call at all, but here comes Fern. I like this. We're getting green cars too. All right. Making this thing interesting.
Yeah, it's certainly getting interesting with R.C. Anderson setting the fastest lap of the race that last time around, so certainly getting racy here. And now he's got a teammate to play with, R.C. Anderson, Colin Fern, now both inside the top 4. It's now 2x2 for Sim500 and then Elite Racing Leagues. We could have a fun little battle coming very shortly here because Josh Parker's going for another move here on Kevin King.
Dive bomb.
These 2 guys. Oh! Yeah, listen.
They didn't hit each other hard enough.
Yeah. There were some elite drivers yelling, take each other out, take each other out. Yeah, these guys, it doesn't matter what's going on. They're racing as hard as they can. A lot of these guys, Josh Parker, he's a NASCAR pro driver for Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean, these guys are so competitive. We talked about the team aspect of this and, thinking it may help when we get back to Sim500 events and helping some of our guys who are a little bit more aggressive. And anyways, that's off the table. These guys aren't holding back.
Everybody's going for broke right now. And we did mention earlier about Falkenham. He's plus 22 since the beginning of the race, and he's creeping his way close to the top 10.
Yeah.
I'd love to live just one day in the life of Daniel Falkenham as a sim driver,
Must be interesting. He's right now actually on the back of Tyler Fody, who you mentioned a little bit earlier, Brandon. But I did want to talk about, we've got guys within the same team duking it out. What is the prize here for the winner? What is the race winner here at the end of 100 laps walk away with from Sim500?
So me and Joey decided he's going to offer up 50 and I'm going to offer up 50 and $100 to the winner. And on top of that, we are doing a team challenge, 1 point per position. And I know Elite is kind of short-handed tonight. I think we're missing 3 drivers. Kind of behind the 8 ball there. So we'll see how things shake up.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The money goes to these guys who showed up to support this. But Brandon, I really think that we ought to be the ones receiving the money. Not them. All the work we put in. What are we getting out of this, man? We're working for free.
We're getting the really 3-wide battle for the lead is what we're getting there. You just saw RC Anderson, Josh Parker, and Kevin King going 3-wide there. They settled back into the positions they were in, but man, oh man, it looked hairy as they headed into turn number 3.
Yeah, Vern and RC are making things work. I'm really surprised that Kevin King and Josh Parker racing this hard and this clean. I mean, you could throw a blanket over these 5 right now. This is good stuff.
We've got parity in the top 10. That's what you want to see too.
That's right. I like it. Still got 67 laps to go. Long race. And as hard as they're racing, I'm surprised they
Well, with that caution that we had earlier on in this event, these guys are still expected to complete one more pit stop, assuming we go green all the way to the end of this race here. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, they'll have to pit again for sure. I doubt they can make it on fuel, but they're definitely going to want tires before the end of the race.
Yeah, I think tires are the big thing tonight. They'll probably get tires before they need fuel, to be honest. And I think that's a crucial decision when do you go in early, short pitted, do you run the tires out, the full fuel cycle? I mean, it's been so back and forth on what's the better call, but it seems like most guys at short pit, it always turns out bad for those guys. So we'll just have to see if this does go green, what the strategies turn out. That's the best part of this. We get to watch the strategies.
Yeah, I don't have to do any calculations in my head tonight, which is amazing.
Definitely not there, but I mean, the biggest calculations you're going to have to do is figuring out the percentages of some of these moves that these guys are making, because it is so chaotic here for this lead. And what's impressive about the second run is we don't really have a breakaway yet. I mean, you kind of have a bit of a gap if we head a little bit further back beyond Jared Rexing, or actually I believe it's beyond Jeff Hollingsworth, but even then, I mean, you're talking about no more than about 0.3 of a second here back to the 54 car of Jimmy Coleman outside of the top 9. So really, really great battling going on here. This top 9 covered by just 1.5 seconds on the track.
Yeah, when you put Sim500 best drivers on the same track, this is what you're going to get. Good, hard, clean racing throughout the race. They take care of their equipment, which is why they're so good. That's part of being good in iRacing, I think, is knowing your surroundings. And when you first start out on iRacing, you kind of, make mistakes, beat up your car, don't finish races, and you can tell these guys are top notch.
Yeah, I gave props to my guys earlier. I looked on Discord and we had almost everyone there. They were practicing, they were focused on their paint schemes, and it's just how serious, and I know Elite's the same way, but how serious they take their hobby. I mean, this is, I've been sim racing, I think, longer than I probably want to admit it. I'm not very good, and that's, I guess, why I run the league, so I got to be good at something.
I think we're on the same tier, Joey. I think we were used to battle for top 15s in Sim500 together.
Yeah, and I still the same. The challenge every week to get closer to that top 10 is it's something. But so we added more nights at Sim500, so some of the faster guys won't show up. We've got a Boomer Cup series on Thursday for all the 35 and older drivers. That's a night that Joey G has led some laps. Okay, come on.
Oh.
Yeah. So we have to do what we have to do.
Very impressive there. I mean, no, sim racing is an incredible job. I keep coming back to just what happened last year. I think has done so much for sim racing as a whole. Getting professional drivers to get involved, also getting the generally the public eye involved in sim racing. It's boomed so much since the start of 2020. One of the biggest benefits certainly to come out of the COVID pandemic there, and now we get to have big events like this where we're able to draw in crowds and people are down to watch sim racing on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday nights. It puts on great racing. Guys get to enjoy themselves, live out their dreams as race car drivers. It's great entertainment for us up here in the league.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys, I think Joey would agree, could definitely make. I know Sim500 has some drivers that have made it through Road to Pro and to the Pro Series. If elite members would try that, I really believe that they have the talent to do that as well. But it's just it's such a commitment to do that. You have to be very committed to iRacing, building setups, and working your way to the top series.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys that have attempted that and they burned out really fast. It does take a lot, and I think that there's a difference when you become a league racer. You know, I don't know the last time I've run an official race, but you know, just no different from Elite Sim500. We have our core group of guys. It's I call it a dysfunctional family. We've been together now. Some of us been racing in the same circle for 14, 15 years. You know, these guys become friends, close friends. You consider your best friend, and you know what, Brendan, you've never met them before. It is cool. We have seen a lot of our guys over the years meeting up at races and stuff, but hell, man, half the guys at Sim500, I never even had a chance to shake their hands, but some of the best people in the world. And that's what I love the most about this hobby, the league aspect of it, is you just get around some good people, and then you get into it, cuss them out, and then make up tomorrow. So it's great.
Yeah, like I never in a million years would have thought I would have been able to cuss out Jeff Green, but I did that 3 weeks ago, and and I far as the wall there. But again, on that topic, I messaged Jeff. We, in the heat of the moment on iRacing, you take it so serious. Everybody's competitive on here, and we spend numerous of hours each week trying to, have good runs and make the playoffs.
And that's the name we haven't mentioned all night, but Jeff Green, how cool is that? You got Jeff Green racing in your league. I remember watching him in the Nesquik, the chocolate bunny out there tearing them up. Jeff right now currently running the 35th position, so very cool to have him out here.
Yeah, he's he's a better person than he is race car driver. He's such an awesome dude.
That's certainly saying something, yeah.
And I've always said this: if you're good at driving a simulator, you're not a real race car driver. So that bodes well for Mr. Green back there in 35th. He's a hell of a race car driver. Is what we're seeing.
That's right.
I'll say potentially R.C. Anderson might break that trend here, as he's still running 4th position, and he is one heck of a real race car driver as well. But no, I certainly agree with that general trend. Is you're willing to take risks in a sim that as a real driver, you just that kind of mental blocks kind of stops you from doing some really stupid moves that you might do in the sim.
Yeah, he's seen it all. There's nothing Jeff hasn't seen in real life that he hasn't seen on iRacing, and what, 2 seasons ago, from 2 seasons ago to now, he has improved drastically.
Yeah, it truly
just takes time. This isn't something you're going to jump in, and from a driver's perspective, your rear end is what drives the race car, and in a simulator, your eyes actually become your rear end. So for me, I've never been able to figure out how to make a sim car go fast because I can't feel it. And for guys that have never driven a real race car, that's what they know. That's what they've learned, and they can feel the race car by watching it. So this is a different animal, and it's cool to add the respect to it. You see the Jeff Greens, man, you get a list, Dale Jr. and so on. These guys coming out here and supporting iRacing and hell league racing. I saw you guys got Kyle Busch coming to your league. How great is that?
It's certainly going to be extremely exciting. I'm looking forward to calling the races. We've had a couple of pros kind of hop on and off for some of the races that we run, especially our IndyCar league. It's a number of Road to Indy drivers, including Stefan Wilson, Anders Krohn, some of those other guys who've raced there in real life. So obviously very fortunate to have Chad who's able to make those connections for us. But it's another kind of thing where it gets our drivers to step up their game, certainly. So that's been impressive to watch that progression, watching that league grow. And I mean, if Kyle Busch truly is racing in all 3 of our series, I'm going to thoroughly enjoy watching all of those races.
Yeah, I had a chance to race with Kyle. I think we had a special event race for Elite a couple months back, and he was great on it. He wrecked out early in that race, and he actually had his son finish the race, who was actually kicking our tail.
We talk about Kyle Busch, Joe Gibbs Racing. I got to give a shout out to Brian Morris Cook. Brian's the social media guru for Joe Gibbs Racing. He's out there representing Sim500, the 63 Toyota. Brian's brought these guys in. We've done a Joe Gibbs challenge for many years. The likes of Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Matt Benedetto, and so on, man. So it's just like I said, I think both leagues that just kind of tells you the level of both Elite and Sim500 to have people with that much credibility, trust in what our products are to come out and support us like that.
Yeah, it's been a great progression for sim racing as a whole. You guys have, on both ends, Elite Racing League, Sim500 done an incredible job at continuing to expand that brand, and it's providing us with some great racing. Up front, we haven't talked about him too much because he's been stretching out his lead. Kevin King has stretched out a lead from Colin Fern, who now takes over the second position. So it's now Sim500 over Elite Racing, then Josh Parker, and then R.C. Enerson. Tommy Ryan, and then Jared Rexing, though Jared Rexing making a move here around the outside of Rhyme in the number 99 car. So those green cars starting to move their way up towards the front. The red cars maybe losing a little bit of time here on the long run, though that's an interesting dynamic that we're potentially starting to see here. You see Tyler Fody as well starting to join the picture, but you've also got David Comstock coming in here as well. Daniel Falkingham, meanwhile, has kind of stalled out a little bit around the 17th position, so he's got some work to do to get his way back forward. If the expectation there was that 39 car was to be in victory lane at the end of 100 laps.
Yeah, I'm definitely impressed with Kevin King. He's driving the wheels off that thing right now. There's nothing to say, like pulling away from Colin Fern and the rest of the field of great drivers. And, I do like that I see more green cars up there now, Joey. This is a team competition, and
if the math is correct, we're 5-5 right now in the top 10.
You got the leader spot. I think we got the majority of the where we're running. Second, fourth, fifth, sixth.
Yeah, it is in fact 5 and 5 here. So 5 cars for Elite, 5 for Sim500. I'm not too sure how the points breakdown goes right now with the current running positions. But again, something to keep an eye out for in terms of the leagues duking it out. Of course, for Kevin King, he's just worried about that $100 payout. And right now, with a 1.6 second lead over Colin Fern here, he certainly doesn't have to worry about that too much. And in fact, on that last lap, grew that lead by 1/10 of a second. Kevin King right now is on an absolute tear, stretching away from the rest of this field.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in, Brandon, since it's you and I sat down and put this together, and we both haven't had a ton of time where we've kind of been flying by the seat of our pants. How about we simplify this? I'll throw this out at you. The most drivers in the top 10, and if we are tied at 5, the 11th car breaks the tie, and we determine our team winner that way.
I think you've been doing calculations behind my back. I'm not sure I can agree to that yet.
We still have a long way to go. I actually don't want to sit here and have to add up points all night long, because I also don't think y'all want to sit here for 30 minutes to determine who wins the race as far as the teams are concerned.
Yeah, we could do that. Top 10. Well, I want all of our drivers to feel like they're a part of it. We're going to keep our same strategy. I'll add up the points for you. I'll take the time to do that.
Okay, then that's a fair deal. As long as I don't have to do anything and I can sit and I will have somebody double check you, but other than that, we're good.
Okay, that was the problem. I thought I was going to get by on you there, but yeah, I'll do that tonight. We'll announce the team winner tonight, and Rich, I think we might be looking at some pit stops coming up here soon, because these tires have got to be worn out by now.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that here. We'll take a quick look at the top 8 here, pit strategy. There you can see 34 laps complete on these tires here. So maybe a few more laps if they want to split it just perfectly. In terms of, I think they were expected to run about 80 or so laps on these tires. So getting maybe 5 or 6 more laps. But I was just saying, R.C. Enerson has dropped way back. I think really starting to suffer from tire wear here. He's dropped back to 6th just about to get passed here by David Comstock, or actually David Comstock about to get passed by Jared Rexing here. So, but still, R.C. Anderson, who was fighting it out for the lead early on in this run, falling all the way back into the 6th position.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think if somebody's going to have to undercut Kevin a little bit by a few laps to have a shot at him, I believe, right now. He's just hitting his marks. He's driving well. What's Fern? A second and a half back now, 3 seconds?
2 seconds back, and still losing time. So that last lap lost about half a tenth of a second.
Have to go on Daniel Falkingham watch. He is still back at the 18th spot. He's actually losing time.
Yeah, damage, Rich. Can we zoom in on that car, maybe?
I wonder if he put his mom in the car tonight. What's going on here?
Yeah, this is not like him, but
left side looks just fine here on this number 39 car. We'll potentially see if we can grab a right front and right rear image. So right front, maybe a little bit of a touch there to that right front fender you can see in the corner of your screen.
Yeah, but I think any damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got damage. Because that's not like that. Daniel Falkenham to do that. So that damage is like a parachute right now on his car.
That right side,
I like it.
Yeah, that right side damage could be tightening up the car maybe a little bit too much for this 39 car. There have been situations, I know I've certainly experienced it here on iRacing, where actually a little bit of damage helped change the balance for the better. So it doesn't unfortunately seem to be doing it for the 39 car for his sake, but you can certainly sometimes see that take place when you have a car that's fresh that doesn't quite handle the way you want to.
Well, red car is on the move. I got to take a shout out to Davey Comstock and Pedro Mojica. They both have now cleared the pack, and now Comstock's up to 6th. Mojica's in right behind him here, so we got 2 more red cars headed to the front to break up some of the screen, Brandon.
And R.C. Anderson, I think, is going to be our first car to come down pit road.
Get your mark, R.C. Look good, look clean.
So R.C. Anderson, first car to take green flag pit stops. No one else has made that call just yet.
He's going to bring everybody. He's going to bring everybody, I believe.
Well, the one to watch out for is going to be the number 29 car of Kevin King, our race leader. He decides to stay out this particular lap, but we're going to keep an eye out. Expect more and more cars to come with each lap as we're getting towards that halfway point since our last caution came out. And assuming we go green all the way to the end, you're going to want to split this second stage effectively into halves, I would assume.
Yeah, and Tyler Fody is a driver that always stays out and runs his tank empty and usually has the precious tires at the end of the race. So I expect him to kind of stay out longer than most, but we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, that kind of goes with our thoughts earlier on the tire strategy. I haven't seen many guys within Sim500 that the short pit has actually worked out. It seemed maybe the build before it wasn't. You could make that strategy work, but here in lane, it's just not been there.
Well, we'll continue to follow the storyline, of course, for R.C. Anderson, as well as some of these other drivers who actually, I believe, have come down pit road fairly recently. There's actually a group of guys towards the back who pitted around lap 50 as well as lap 60. Something to look out for is, of course, being stuck a lap down. If a caution flag comes out right now, I mean, if you're R.C. Anderson, that traps you a lap down. Same with Josh Clark, Jeff Green, Gerald Campbell, Chad Frankenfield, all trapped a lap down right now if a caution flag were to come out. So something just to be wary of. Of course, it gives you that brief pace advantage. But of course, drivers will come back at you once they have fresh tires and you're on warm ones.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if staying out long, I don't know when Kevin's going to come in, but if the longer you stay out, you're going to have to drive the wheels off that thing the last 30 laps to catch up with these guys that have undercut you by 10 or 15 laps.
So Comstock responds. Ooh, Falkingham, I think, almost lost it entering pit road, might have been. That might not be Falkingham, actually. But man, oh man, so we're trying to get the right picture there. It might have been the 75 there of Chuck Sweeting. One of those cars was extremely loose getting onto pit road.
Yeah, I think Fern, he has to come in now, in my opinion. He has to undercut Kevin and possibly get, you know, within a half a second of them through the pit cycle.
So it's 2.75 seconds back from Kevin King right now, so pace certainly isn't there on that 68 car right now on this long run. As Kevin King just continues to extend that lead, really hasn't dropped a ton of pace either. Still putting in extraordinarily competitive times despite the gap that he's pulled to the rest of this field. So Colin Fern, Tyler Fode, the rest of this pack, and the other Sim500 drivers are all going to have to figure out something to beat Kevin King, and this might be the call here. Colin Fern comes down pit road.
What laps is going? 68. We'll see how long Kevin stays out, but you would have to think that brings down Kevin.
I tell you what, as we're watching these pit stops happen, I want to give a shout out to the 54, Jimmy Coleman. He's having a heck of a race right now for Sim500. He's actually gaining on cars right now, gaining on guys like Josh Parker, Pedro Mojica, and these guys. So he's definitely saved his stuff. He looks like he's got a little bit more left in the tank here.
There's Jacob Adams with a ton of damage. And you were mentioning Jimmy Coleman. How does he usually run in Sim500 compared to Josh Parker?
Well, Josh Parker is one of the best guys we have at Sim500. So to beat Josh Parker, I mean, you're doing something. So on average, Josh Parker is definitely the superior guy, but that just shows you what Jimmy's bringing tonight. Yeah, he's focused and dialed in tonight for sure.
Great run.
I always love to see, you know, drivers that run 15th to 17th. Oh, he about snagged it. You know, run 15th to 17th, come up there and have solid runs and compete with the guys that are usually running top 5, top 7.
Yeah,
I tell you, this is going to be interesting right now. Kevin King's still on the racetrack, so we talked about the undercut, man. He's got 30 laps to go. Kevin must have some confidence that once he gets back out, he's going to be able to make up that difference.
It's gonna be close.
It's going to be very close. Interestingly enough, R.C. Anderson well past Colin Fern on the racetrack. Colin Fern, has something happened to that 68 car?
Did he have trouble on pit road?
Yeah, last time around it said minute and 2 seconds for Colin Fern. He had a
40-second hold on pit road, I bet.
Possibly, or it might just be a bit of a glitch in our timing and scoring. A lot of things just moved around there briefly. Might have just lost track position to R.C. Anderson there, and I think that might just be the situation. Because Colin Fern showing as just a standard pit speed right there, 14 seconds stationary in his pit box, so might just be a glitch in our timing and scoring.
Well, that shows you the difference.
Guys, leader of pit road.
That shows you the difference there of RC pitted probably 5 laps before Fern did, and look at the gap he pulled on Fern just from that. So Kevin King is going to have his work cut out for him in the next 28 laps.
Man, we just had some excitement over here in turn 1. It looks like he's at the 40. Was completely sideways. He was he was able to save it, but he was completely sideways over at 1 and 2.
He's staying out on the racetrack. Tyler Fode takes over the lead as Kevin King came down pit road. Same with Hank Steinmiller. Some damage there to the rear of Tyler Fode's car as well, so not sure what happened quite at that moment on the racetrack. But here we go. Let's see what we can find. Where did Kevin King come out on the racetrack? He's well behind a lot of drivers, actually. So Colin Fern's made that pass. R.C. Anderson, of course, has made that pass. David Comstock has passed the leader, Kevin King. Chad Frankenfield, we saw, of course, the difference is going to be how big of an advantage does Kevin King now have on those fresher tires.
He's definitely going to have an advantage, but what's the interval between King and Fern?
Looks like about 2.5 seconds now King is behind Colin Fern.
Yeah, he should make that up. He's going to have 5-lap pressure tires. It just depends on how Fern takes care of his tires on this long run, but knowing Fern, he's driving the wheels off that thing.
That's one thing that you do when you undercut. You want to get out there and push as hard as you can to make up as much time as you can. And what do you do when you do that? You burn your tires up. I've done it 1,000 times. I'm like, I'm going to go up here and drive to the front. And then here comes the leaders blowing right by you because you've used up all your tires.
Yep. Yeah, because 26 laps at Atlanta is a ton of time to burn tires up.
It truly is. Well, R.C. Enerson has just taken over the effective race lead. Nick Massey, Chris Wright, and Chad Coleman all still out on the racetrack, but yet to pit. R.C. Enerson then leads Josh Adams, Jared Rexing, Chad Frankenfield. So the top 4 cars of guys who have made the stop, all elite racing drivers, but all of them making early stops. So betting on that undercut, while a lot of the Sim500 drivers may be staying out a little bit longer, betting on that overcut. So we'll see how this plays out as we're within the final quarter of this race.
So Enerson has an 8-second lead on Kevin King with 25 to go. I know he's got 10-lap older tires, maybe a little bit more. But I think he's the one to watch out for now rather than Fern. Can Kevin King make it to R.C. Enerson?
Yeah, that's a big. That's the back straightaway basically to give everybody at home an idea of what Kevin King's going to have to make up here in a short amount of time.
He is currently 7 seconds. He's knocking off probably half a second a lap, so he's definitely going to catch him. Maybe Kevin King had the right strategy. We're going to see.
It's going to be interesting for sure, man. What a great night, Brandon. This is. I'm not much at being in the booth. I've done the producing stuff. I've done the announcing stuff. But tell you what, I'm glad I decided to come up here with you guys because I don't know that I'd help my team much, but it's just exciting. And what a hell of a race all these guys are putting on tonight.
I agree, Dory, man. I'm glad we did this. It's good for both leagues. And these guys are performing on the track like we thought they would. I'm super stoked that we did this. Maybe we need to, maybe do this annually.
When you get this kind of racing, it's kind of hard to argue, you know what I mean? This has just been class acts from everybody around the racetrack. Given plenty of room, plenty of respect. It's like these guys have raced together for years. That's definitely what you want to have. And again, when you put your 21 best drivers out there, you do kind of expect it too, right?
I agree, 100%.
It's been truly impressive.
And Rich would know most. He's the one watches these races every week, and he can tell you when we've had plenty of bad races and we have good ones as well. But he can't disagree with us on this. That this has been a great race.
No, I was just gonna say it's been really impressive the fact that most of these guys, like you guys have been saying, haven't raced around each other from the guys crossing over between Sim500 and Elite, and the fact that they're racing wheel to wheel so well, so cleanly, just goes to show just how good these drivers really are. Sometimes just getting caught up in certain little things on the racetrack. When you really put them out here, you put it all on the line, and you force them to work together maybe a little bit. You start to see them really coming out and putting down some of the best races that they can really do. And we're seeing that right now as R.C. Enerson is our race leader, or effective race leader still. Nick Massey, Chris Wright, Chad Coleman, all playing it out to try and make it to hopefully a caution flag, I think is what they're potentially wishing for. But man, the more and more laps we go here, this is kind of a last grasp effort at a result here. Otherwise they're going to be well mired in the pack, I think, by the end of this event.
I will say I've seen Nick Massey do some crazy strategies, and he could possibly be, not pitting here, because right now it's too late to pit. I think he's going to try to stretch this all the way to the end and see where he lands. But he's currently 14 seconds up on Fern, 13 on King. They should catch him, but I mean he should definitely finish with a top 10 out of all this.
That's Chris Wright, and RC's pitted. Is Chris Wright pitted?
Chris Wright remains in second position here still.
They're going to stretch it, I believe, is my guess. Yeah, I mean, if they can make it on fuel. They're probably cutting cars off in the middle of the corners right now.
Ooh, maybe not here. It looks like Chris Wright might be heading to pit road this time by. Nick Massey is as well, so that's going to hand the lead to R.C. Enerson with 1.2 seconds over Kevin King, who's just made the pass on Colin Fern. The race is on with 18 to go between R.C. with the second lead to Kevin King, but that lead is going down very quickly. It is certainly...
Gotta wreck him, R.C. Gotta wreck him.
The sportsmanship just went right out the window, folks.
Look, we can be casual for the first 82 laps, but now I'm just...
That's right, that's right.
King, he's been the class of the field. He's driving a hell of a race.
Yeah,
props to him.
This could be a very quick overtake here. RC, who pitted about, I want to say 15 or 20 laps earlier than Kevin King, about 10 laps actually, so a little bit off there, but there's the difference right there in those tires. Kevin King easily slides by the 50 car of RC Anderson, who's just holding on there off of turn number 2, and back into the lead for this number 29 car, who's led for most of the night tonight.
If you want some action, guys, go look back there. Falkingham to the 10th spot, and behind him it's a hornet's nest of Sim500 and elite cars trying to get into the top 10.
Check out this great battle going on. P9, Daniel Falkingham, so he had a great cycle on and off of pit road, gained a ton of position there, up 27 from his starting spot. Next best there is Pedro Mojica up in the 4th position. Also a fantastic run tonight for Sim500. But yeah, great battle here. 2 green cars, 2 red cars duking it out for 7th overall in this event.
Yeah, Joey, I don't know much about Pedro Mojica. Tell me a little bit about him in Sim500.
Pedro is he's one of those guys they talk about. We go back years. Sim500 back in the NASCAR 2003 days. If you look at your iRacing Pro Series, your Alfalas, hell, majority of the Sim500 guys that are racing in our series today were a part of what they called Monday Night Money back then. And Pedro actually, you had a team owner. It was extremely expensive to run that series as a team owner. Pedro drove for a friend of mine, the Lincoln Mechanical team. So, like I said, Pedro's been around forever, man. He works within the motorsports industry. He was with Richard Petty Motorsports. He's done some stuff with, I think it was Corvette, but great guy. Really appreciate him making time to come out, and he's racing a lot with us at Sim500. I think he's out racing 3-4 nights a week with us right now.
I would love to do that, but the wife will not let me.
Well, we actually, and this is crazy, Sim500, I'm going to quick plug here, but 8 series in 7 nights. At one point, we had 7 series, and all 7 were broadcasted. So it has been a hell of a ride. We actually are fixing to sprinkle a little dirt action in on Friday nights. Midnight Thunder, the truck series that races midnight on Fridays. That series goes back to, I think I've had that series 15 years now. Brian Keselowski and myself put that together at Sim500, and it was when Keselowski was racing the ARCA series, winning a bunch of races. So Saturday night we ran ARCA cars. So to still have Midnight Thunder going and stuff like that, man, we just got it all covered. You got every single car you could think of. We started a new late night Saturday night series of the ARCA cars. So Brandon, we got times set so you can go spend time with your wife, spend time with your kids, and then sneak into the rig and get some racing done late night.
I do like that, and props to you, man, for running such a great league, because that takes up a ton of time, and you're doing a fabulous job. You just dated it back to 2003, man. That's an awesome job, Joey.
Like, I didn't own Sim500 back then, so don't hold that against me, folks. If you remember that, you're part of that. But that had nothing to do with me, new ownership. But I couldn't do without my admin team. I mean, Randy Yoakum, Tyler Dalton, man, I know Jimmy Coleman. Shit, man, there's so many of them. I just can't even put into words what these guys do. Brian Macklin, Steve Herring on Friday nights. Just these guys, the unit we have, the admin team. No league can run without a great team, and we've got it. And not just the admin, we've got it as an overall group. This is going up to our 6th year since we started it back up. So the fact that we're still here and we haven't imploded, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, man. You should give yourself a pat on the back for that. But
well, that wasting time and talking, Kevin King's got the lead now.
Yeah, he's running away with it too. I'm not one to hope for cautions, but I'm hoping for one right now.
Yeah, 4 seconds is the lead for Kevin King, and Pedro Mojica just makes the pass for 2nd position on RC Anderson. So I was just taking a look here. I think, Brandon, if you want to change the way the point systems work,
No.
There's more elite cars in the top 10, but you've got the top 2 drivers are Sim500. So it kind of balancing out right now, interestingly enough.
Yeah, these guys all committed to this. They all deserve their points to matter. So we're gonna stick with that, even though we would be kicking Joey's tail right now.
That's right.
But props to all these guys for an amazing race, man. We're coming to 8 to go. I've had a blast. I've never done this. Rich, thank you for coming on and broadcasting it for us and giving these guys some airtime that they deserve.
Yeah, I'm happy to of course bring attention to this. This is a great event that you guys are running. We've always wanted to wonder what it's actually like in other leagues and what the level of competition is in other leagues, things like that. So it's great to get a chance to see that with Sim500. And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna of course make a quick plug. We are of course on the Elite Racing Network. So we do bring all the action for the Elite Racing Leagues. I've tried to stay as impartial as possible and allow Brandon to represent Elite, but I am going to now plug some of our Elite events that we have all throughout the week. Wednesday nights, we've got our Cup Series. Friday nights, we've got our IndyCar Series. Oh, as we've got a wreck going on the racetrack almost between
I see debris. There's debris on the track.
David Comstock and who was that? That was a lapped car, the number 42. Is that Vincent Isabella?
Vincent. I don't see yellow anywhere, though. I don't see yellow.
Whew. Scared me there during that brief moment. Almost had a caution to end this event, but they do keep them both out on the racetrack, keeping themselves rolling in the right direction. But yeah, tomorrow night we've got IndyCar Series racing. Sunday nights, Truck Series racing, and of course Monday nights we go to Xfinity cars. So of course, if you're interested, check out all of our races right here on the Elite Racing Network. We try to broadcast every race that's run in the Elite Racing Leagues. Coleman making the pass on Comstock here, grabbing those, battling with teammates here, but grabbing those bragging rights here within the leagues. I'm sure this will be a race that guys may talk about within each of the other leagues, talking about who they beat, out on the racetrack, things like that here. Meanwhile, in front of them, R.C. Anderson, Colin Fern going side by side, Colin Fern and Vincent Isabella once again. So Isabella kind of getting involved in this lead pack of cars still here on the racetrack.
Yeah, we're coming with under 5 to go now. Very impressive. RC 2 seconds back, I think.
Sound a little dejected there, Brandon.
Yeah, this did go as planned.
Well, I look at it like this, Brendan. It looks really good for you guys right now. The battle I'm watching is Tommy Ryan. He's sitting 12th. He's making some moves on Jared here to try to take the 11th spot. But right now, Elite's got the lead in the top 10. So I'm glad you didn't take me up on that earlier, because we would be getting our tails kicked. It'd be up to Tommy to race his way in the top 10 to put us at a 5-5 split. So right now, I still want to see Tommy get up there. But, man, you guys right now are kicking our butts overall, looks like.
Yeah, like I said, I told our guys in the chat that I think the top 5 drivers in the Sim500 are probably a little bit better than Elite top 5 drivers, but throughout the top 15 or 20, I think we could definitely compete, and we've done that tonight, and it's been a hell of an event. Like, Elite has been impressive, Sim500 has been impressive. Good stuff.
I want 50 more laps.
Yeah, it's been a great race. Well, we're about to get to the point where a caution would end the race. Just 2 more corners for Kevin King to go to get that white flag. And it looks pretty guaranteed at this point that he's going to collect that. And there it is. The white flag is going to be out. Across the line goes Kevin King. Just 1 more lap to go in the Sim500 versus Elite race. A dominant performance from Kevin King throughout the night. Put that car on the pole. Then in that first run, really extended his gap towards the rest of the field to about 3 seconds, I want to say. But on this final run here, stayed out late, lost some track position, but got it all back. Now 5 seconds clear of second place. And for Kevin King in Sim500, it's going to be victory lane here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Congratulations to the number 29. Congratulations, Joey.
Yeah, well, it's a great win for Kevin King. I tell you, Pedro Mojica second, and Jimmy Coleman, that's the biggest win for us tonight. Jimmy drove his tail off for a top 5 finish. Actually, Jimmy's falling back. No, he didn't. We're good. We're good. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out, the points, Brandon. Man, that was a great race. Again, Rich, thank you so much for letting me come up here with you guys, and I can't wait to do this again.
We're going to have to make this an annual event, and we probably won't get to interview Kevin due to him not being in our Discord, but give him my props, man. He drove a hell of a race.
Well, the celebrations begin for Kevin King, who's just become $100 richer.
Burning it down right in my face. Cut the commercial, Rich.
No,
yeah, I can work on getting Kevin King in here, actually, if you guys want to see if we can do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Definitely. We'll see if we can grab him. Talk to our race winner as he burns it down. A great burnout there. Loving that style of burnout that he's doing as he straightens it back up again, back down the front straightaway.
Yeah, I've tried that several times. It never works for me. I always spin it out, but I don't win as often as Kevin King does either.
He's got the practice getting that job done there, and get some more practice there as well. A great drive by this number 29 driver for Sim500. So let's take you guys to the results of this race and take a look. You'll see drivers labeled as Sim500, drivers labeled as Elite Racing Leagues, and here it is. Sim500 grabs those top 2 spots, but Elite Racing Leagues has more drivers inside the top 10. Look at that, from 6th all the way back to 9th. It was Elite Racing League drivers. A great mix.
That bet.
Yeah, great mix throughout the field here. And a great result, a great race. I think a lot to be proud of for the drivers from Elite and from Sim500. I think they can walk away from this race all being pretty pleased with the result generally. Yeah, I mean, fantastic racing. Once again, thank you, Brandon, for of course, coming up with this idea and putting this all together. And, of course, Joey, for having your guys come out here.
Yeah, Joey and me, I'm glad we made this happen, and Rich, you're a big part of it, and this is my first time up here in the broadcast booth. You made it so easy for us, Rich, and we couldn't have done it without you, man, because I think everybody that tuned in tonight got a treat.
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll hear from Joey as well as our race winner, Kevin King, here in just a moment. Any update on that, Joey?
Yeah, I was looking for RC as well to see if we could get the 3rd place guy in as we waited for these guys to jump over.
Can take a look and see if we've got RC. He's not even showing up in the Elite, in the other Elite Discord chat that was made, so might just not have RC available for tonight, but we can at least still get Kevin King. And I believe we have him here. Yep. So we have our race winner in dominating fashion, Kevin King, winning the race, not only grabbing $100 for yourself, but representing Sim500 eSports. Yourself and Pedro Mojica grab a 1-2 finish for Sim500. Talk us through the night and talk us through this win.
Yeah, it was fun. I drove these cars a couple months ago. Me and Pedro did, actually. We were talking about it, and I knew being up front was going to be key. It's just so hard to pass. Josh made it hard there for a little while. He was really pushing on the start of the restarts, but I figured if I got 10 laps or so and kind of maintained everything, that I could kind of just maintain the pace. And each time I pit, the tires came off really good. So I was driving, felt like I was driving pretty smooth. The car felt good, wasn't doing the typical push slide thing. The traffic was really awesome in terms of giving me room, but I was definitely scared with the green flag pit stops because you never know how that's going to work out. But yeah, that was fun. It's definitely cool to race against guys you don't really race against often. So it's really nice to see, a lot of good drivers out there, but it's definitely when to finally win something like this.
Yeah, Kevin, this is Brandon from Elite Racing, man. You drove a hell of a race. I was kind of questioning your pit strategy there. I thought staying out late might have been detrimental to you winning because of the undercuts. Was that kind of concerning to you, or do you?
Yeah, it's always a concern because you just never know. You just kind of forget what the fall off is. I knew the fall off was like 2 seconds. What my hot lap was to what I was running, so I knew there's obviously a speed difference, and RC pit real early, so I wasn't too concerned that I would catch him. But I gave, I had a decent gap on Colin, and then he pit. I gave myself about 3 laps to give myself a tired advantage. And there was a point where he was like 4.5 seconds ahead, and I think I got to 2, and it didn't move for like 2 laps. And I was like, oh man, it's one of those things where I'm barely going to be faster. But I started to drive a little harder just because the grip was there, and I was way under driving to start. But I definitely was a little concerned. But I knew if it went green, I should have, I should be on top in terms of a performance advantage. So definitely thankful that happened.
Well, congratulations, man, and $100 is coming your way, and I'm gonna send it over to Joey for his comments, man. Congrats again.
Appreciate you guys putting this on. I mean, it's definitely fun. Something I haven't done in, I think, forever. So this is definitely cool.
Yeah, I just want to thank you, Kevin, for representing Sim500, taking time out, and man, great race overall. Never doubted you. I actually had my Kevin King shirt on tonight, man. Great job.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I know I kind of screwed up the numbers. I was a little concerned that I screwed up the paint scheme, but I forgot to change the numbers over. But I figured at least I'll have my pit stalls on there. But yeah, I appreciate you asking us all to do this. It definitely was fun. A lot of good drivers, like I said, guys that I haven't driven around. It was definitely interesting to see, because you don't know. I knew Colin was quick. I knew the other Colin was quick. But everyone else I've never really raced against. So it was really, you never know what's going to happen in terms into these races. But pretty happy I drove really well. Happy to see Pedro. We've been racing forever. Happy to see him come back from like 80th or something wherever he started to come out second, which is definitely a hard track to pass at.
All right. Congratulations again to Kevin King, the race winner there. We'll also bring in Pedro Mojica. Pedro, congratulations on the second place finish there. Again, rounding out a 1-2 finish for Sim500. Talk us through your night.
Well, I thought I blew it to start. Kevin mentioned it. We talked before the race during practice, and we talked about how important track position was. And I really goofed up my qualifying laps. And I think I started 29th, so I had a tall mountain to climb for sure. But just methodically worked my way through the field, trying to manage tires, but also trying to find the lane that was moving. And just be patiently aggressive, as they would say, moving up through the field. So we, before the first yellow, we gained a good amount of spots, maybe about 10 spots. And then when after that yellow came out and that we had that restart, I pushed a little bit harder just to try to get that track position. I think we rolled into the top 10 right before pit stop started happening. And so we pitted. I got a little nervous with people pitting earlier that, oh man, I may not be able to catch them after I patched them. But luckily I pitted with enough time, I think about 30 laps to go, and was able to come out, have clean track, run some good hard laps, and the next thing I know, I'm in the top 5, and I'm like surprised. I didn't think I would end up where I was at, but once I came out and saw, the leader wasn't too far at the time, I pushed hard and got by those guys to get second, hold second down for Sim500 and give 1-2 finish.
Pedro, congratulations on your second place, man. It looks like you gained 27 spots. This is Brandon from Elite. Just explain how was tire fall off here in this race? I've seen a lot of close battles, pack racing, and it kind of looked like Daytona out there. There's so many competitive packs. And it looked like you took care of your tires and drove to the front, man, and you did very well.
Yeah, so, I mean, you could rip the top in the middle for 3 or 4 laps if you wanted to go really hard, but you would really kill your tires at the end of the run. I think we saw a couple drivers, Josh was in our channel when we raced. He mentioned he was going to go really, really hard. And one of those runs, the long run we had before pits, I ended up catching him and passing him. He had burned his stuff to the ground. So really those first couple laps were really key on determining how the rest of your run was going to go. And then, just running the bottom preferably would save your tires better. If you run the top, it'd burn your tires a little bit more. But Once I kind of got to the front, I mean, once the tires started wearing out, it was hard to get grip off the corner. You'd spin the rear tires. So preferred lane was the top, and even though you would wear your tires a little bit more, if you could just hold the guy on the bottom below you, you could hold the position. So kind of knowing all that stuff, I just try to manage it, and like I said before, just follow the lane that was moving. They're later in the race had to roll the top to gain spots, so it was just waiting for the right time to try to take advantage of guys if they got a little loose off the corner or didn't have as strong of an entry, and try to roll the top on them.
Yeah, well, you did a great job, man, and congratulations on your second place finish, and you represented Sim500 well. And Joey, you got anything?
Yeah, I just want to thank Pedro for representing Sim500. Great drive tonight, as always. Pedro's one of the best. Glad to have you out there, man, and congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Joey. Thanks, guys, for putting this on. This was a lot of fun. I think this is really cool to get these two leagues and maybe even other leagues. I think I started thinking that'd be kind of cool to just have kind of like a league deal, like different leagues competing against each other, because there's a lot of good competition out there. And, when you watch other leagues, you kind of always wonder, well, how do our guys compare to those guys? And you always want to know. And I feel like it was pretty good matched up for this race. There's a lot of good racers, a lot of good competition. Some guys I've raced against, some I've never raced against that I could remember. And I mean, to have two leagues coming together where probably most of us haven't raced each other that much, to have as clean of a race as we did is really, really impressive in my opinion. So yeah, I appreciate what you guys did for putting this on, man, and I look forward to doing some more.
Yeah, me and Joey, we're gonna do an annual Elite versus Sim500. So next year, man, be ready, and we'll do this thing again. But we'll toss it up to Rish.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, thank you for joining us, Pedro. And yeah, I wanted to give you guys who joined me up in the booth, thank you first of all for being up here, for watching this race alongside myself. Allowing me to call this race with you guys. It was a heck of an enjoyable race to watch. Great kind of storyline going into it, of course, with the Sim500 versus Elite Racing Leagues, and curious to see the outcome officially when it comes out on Twitter. But wanted to give you guys some final thoughts before I finish things up here on the air.
I'm speechless. I'm pissed. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, thank you again, Joey. Thank you, Rish. Hell of an event. We'll do it again. I'm going to go in the elite chat and cuss some people out because we didn't win, but I think we did win the team points.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm actually sitting here now, and we may have an audit coming. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, guys, this was a blast. I think from a league owner's perspective, it's always kind of scary to reach out and to do these kind of things, but I think tonight we showed that it's actually a good thing. And everybody, well, the two guys we had in here a while ago, the number one thing they said was they had fun. And as league owners, league representatives, that's what our goals are, is to keep putting the fun out there. And doing things different, always thinking and looking for other ways of doing it. So, Brandon, I enjoyed working with you, man. Can't wait to do it again. Rish, thanks so much. I never want to work with you again in the booth. So I'll be on the track next week. Y'all have it. Thanks so much, guys, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, man.
All right. Thank you so much, Brandon. Key, Joey, Gattina. I've been Rish of Kosa, bringing you the Sim500 eSports versus Elite Racing Leagues battle here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you potentially next year. Have a good one.